Hello and welcome back. I am Jessica Loper, here to offer you intuitive and practical guidance, helping you to be yourself and reach your goals. So, today we're going to talk about staying on track. A couple weeks ago, we had the theme of staying in the flow. You're welcome to go back and watch that. I'm going to switch off every 2 weeks, just kind of this back and forth of in the flow and staying on track, just because I think there are two important aspects of being yourself and reaching your goals. So that's what we're here to do. They're both important and definitely can interweave with each other. And a lot of this, I think, also has to do with being able to bring that spiritual aspect into the physical. So if that's something that resonates with you or has been coming up for you, this will help with that too. We'll come back to more of that later. But before we talk about staying on track, I want you to think of the intention you set a couple weeks ago if you watched that video, or if you just happen to have set an intention or goal recently, or even for the year of 2024. Just take a moment to reflect and focus on what that goal or intention is or was, right? Another thing that I think can be helpful, if you need motivation to stay on track, is to really tune into the type of person you want to be. Who do you picture when you look at the future version of yourself? Maybe it's where do you see yourself in a year or 5 years, or if you could be more of your true self, or living your life the way you envision the best version of yourself living. That's a way that I think can be helpful to even come up with goals or action steps, or just staying motivated, like just keeping your eye on the prize, right? Is who am I? Who do I want to be? So this year, something I focused on was wanting to just better my health and taking care of myself. That to me meant more self-care and also taking care of my body, eating better, getting movement, nourishing my mind, all the good things. So I feel like this year has been a year where I've really done that, and I've stuck to my goals. And I think part of what really helped me was getting real and honest with myself. What areas was I still playing the victim, saying, poor me, or I'll do this when? How often have you done that? I've done that in pretty much every area of my life. Oh, I'll do this when I have more money. Oh, I'll do this when I move, or when I'm at a different job, or when the kids are older. I think we all have things that if we really wanted to change now, we would, but it's almost easier to just make that excuse. The honest truth is, in most cases, and I do think there are exceptions, of course, especially like if you have small children, sometimes there are things that are just way easier when they're older. I have experienced that. It doesn't mean they're impossible. It's just realistically easier to live a certain way or do certain things, depending on the phase of life that you're in. Same goes with having a certain work schedule or being a student, whatever it is. Okay, you're going to have things where, yes, it may be easier in a different scenario, but if you really want change, and if you're really honest with yourself, what can you do now? Even if it's just a small thing, there's probably something you can do now. So it's like, if you're not willing to change now, you're probably not going to change when things change. Okay, so I mean, maybe I'm just trying to think of a simple example. Maybe it's your diet or food, nutrition. Maybe you think, okay, well, I want to shop more organically, or buy certain supplements, or get certain services or energy work or body work of some kind, but maybe it's finances that are an issue or time that's an issue. Still come back to like, what can you do now? Like, what's one thing you can do now? It is free to take a walk, right? If you can't shop organic and you want to, pick one thing. I know years and years ago when I started wanting to learn more about eating better and paying attention to food labels, yeah, there are things that are more expensive to buy the healthier option. Not everything. Look around. You can definitely find affordable options, but yeah, there's certain brands or certain things that are going to cost more. So what I started with is apples. I was like, you know what? At the time, I can't afford to just totally change my grocery budget and shop everything organic and always buy the healthier choice on everything. Like it wasn't in the weekly grocery budget. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to start buying organic apples. And I don't remember for how long that lasted, but that's where I started. I just picked one thing. Okay, and this is just an example. So apply this where needed. Maybe for you, it's exercise. Maybe you don't feel like you have time for the gym membership, but can you take a short walk around the block? Can you, even if it's cold, can you bundle up? Right? Because how many times do we make that excuse? Oh, it's too cold. Well, put a coat on. So it's just, but that's where you have to get honest with yourself about like, where are you making up excuses instead of just doing the thing? Okay. So some other things with setting your goals and reaching them is what helps you to actually follow through. Do you need an accountability partner? Do you need a planner? Are you someone that works well with lists and checking them off? Maybe you give yourself a prize. If I do XYZ, I'm gonna do this or that. Um, Accountability partner is one that works well for me. Having someone where I say, hey, I'm gonna do this, I'm like 10 times more likely to do it. Or posting on social media. I know it's not for everyone, but for me, it does help me stay accountable. I recently finished a 75 hard program. If you're not familiar with that, I'm actually going to make a totally separate video about my experience with that. So you're welcome to watch out for that. But in a nutshell, it is a mental transformation process over 75 days. It does happen to include some fitness goals and diet or nutrition plan, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot more to it, but it has helped me. It has definitely helped me to be more disciplined and really give me some good perspective shifts. But one thing I did is share on social media. I did post in my stories from time to time and give updates and say, hey, I'm doing this, because I'm the kind of person where if I post something, like I'm gonna be like, oh, I told people I'm doing this, I better do it. And it actually did. It did help me to stay more motivated and to actually keep going, because I knew I had told a lot of people I was doing it. And I don't want to be that person that goes, oh, I didn't do it. Um, but and that may not work for everyone, but just, if it does, if it helps you give that extra encouragement and accountability, and it doesn't have to be social media, it can be a friend or family member, or send me a message. Let me know what you're working on. Tell me in the comments, what are you gonna do? Um, Another thing that helps me is listening to motivational audiobooks, podcasts, things like that. Actually, I'll put a link to, if you need a good motivational butt kicking, it's pretty short. It's maybe like 10 or 12 minutes. But actually, the creator of 75 Hard had a podcast that was like a pretty good taking self accountability, butt kicking. Like it'll bring you down, put you in your place, and get you super motivated and taking action, all in a nutshell. So if that's something you need, definitely recommend listening to that. I'll put that in the link below. And then I'm also going to make a video just about my whole experience with that, because it's definitely changed my life and my perception and my mindset on a lot of things. It's helped me to get more consistent and to take more action. It really has. And to be more honest with myself, because I was the problem more than I realized I was the problem of why I wasn't doing what I wanted before this, right? Okay. So yeah, find something to listen to or read if that helps you. Like, who motivates you? Maybe this is motivating you. I don't know. I'll be here every 2 weeks. Okay. Yeah, so I just wanted to close with that reminder that a lot of these daily actions and even the mundane tasks, maybe just like cleaning or errands, the boring stuff, the adulting that none of us want to do, but we live in a physical realm and you got to do the things. You can't just sit on your couch and wish for things. It's not that simple. Faith without works is dead, right? I love that. I don't even know what scripture. I know it's in the Bible somewhere. I don't know the actual verse or chapter or whatever you want to call it. Book, right? But faith without works is dead. Like, you got to do something. You get off your butt and do something. Take some action. Even if it's a small step, take some action. So what are you going to do? All right. How are you going to follow through with these intentions you've set, whether it's something recent, something for the year? Maybe you already have. I don't know about you, but like I've actually followed through on a lot of my goals for this year, more so than past years. I've noticed. I think something is shifting for me. So you'll have to let me know in the comments if that's been your experience this year. If not, it's okay. Start now, right? Got to start somewhere. But just remember, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And while that spiritual side and aspect, just getting in tune with the energy, is important, and that can help you when you take action. That's really what I'm getting at with talking about being in the flow and staying on track, is bringing that spiritual aspect. How can you bring that spiritual aspect into everything you do? Maybe it's just focusing on your breath while you do the dishes or take a walk. What are you thinking about while you fold the laundry? Finding little ways to ground throughout your day. It makes a huge difference. And some of you may have other lifetimes where you had a really spiritual lifetime, like, for example, maybe as a monk or a nun or something, but maybe you didn't get the full experience of the physical. You're kind of secluded. It's almost like when you use maybe spirituality or meditation or anything like that as an escape. Like, are you using it as an escape, or are you using it as something to be supportive? And I've done it. I still do it sometimes. I'm not claiming to be perfect here. I think I even had a day this week where I went to lay down and meditate because I was like, I just need to check out, right? So there's no judgment there. I'm just saying, like, can you bring that spiritual aspect into what you're doing daily in the physical as well, right? Bring it in, anchor it in. And if you need help doing that, or that's new to you, keep watching. I'm going to have a video every 2 weeks. We'll get into that more. But what I was saying about other lifetimes, maybe this is the lifetime where you integrate both. Maybe you have the spiritually focused lifetime and you're bringing it into the physical, because I think that's what we're actually meant to experience and embody more fully, is being able to have this physical life with being in the world, but not of the world. Does that make sense? So how can you bring more of the spiritual into the action steps that you're taking? And I'm going to leave you with that. I hope you have a great week. Let me know if this was helpful, and I will be back. Take care.